sex with this woman one time, and you just have to own the fact that you could be the child's father. I know it's hard to accept when it was just a one-night stand, but it's a whole lot of people in this world from one-night stands, I hate to tell you.
We were kind of together, but not very serious. He fell in love with someone, moved on, and then I ended up with Kenneth. But I didn't know they were friends at the time. There was a point where I was sleeping with both of them at the same time.
She brings the deepest, darkest secrets, and they're true. And she will tell, these not your kids anyway. Why you helping
Wait a
take
minute,
this?
hold on.
Really?
At some point, she said that to you?
Yes, to my face.
Ms. Moffett shares with the court that she always believed Mr. Johnson was her father until 2 years ago when she received a message from another man claiming to be her biological father. This message has caused her significant confusion and emotional distress. She is seeking a paternity test to resolve the paternity question. Just wait until you hear what's up next.
Ms. Moffett, you always believed the defendant was your dad until 2 years ago when you received a message from a man claiming to be your biological father. You are tired of the confusion and are petitioning the court for a paternity test to prove the defendant is your dad.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more complicated, Mr. Johnson expresses his doubts about being the father due to the mother's behavior and his uncertainty about his paternity. He indicates that the plaintiff's mother had relationships with multiple partners, which contributed to his skepticism. His doubt has led to the need for the court's intervention. Brace yourself. The next revelation is a doozy.
Mr. Johnson, you say the plaintiff's mother played game and unfortunately have substantial reason to doubt paternity. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Moffett, you received a message from another man?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell that story.
This testimony really throws a spanner in the works. Mr. Johnson narrates his previous romantic relationship with Ms. Moffett's mother, which was complicated by his marital status and their secretive meetings. He admits to having concurrent relationships during the time Ms. Moffett was conceived, which fuels his doubt about his paternity. Their secret relationship and his existing doubts play a significant role in the paternity case. What comes next will knock your socks off.
And you were always told Mr. Johnson was your father?
Yes.
And this phone call out the blue, this message?
Yeah, just like where'd it come from? Like all of a sudden, out of 2 or 3 years.
Mr. Johnson, tell me why you have doubts.
2 other guys was, at the time was dealing with Miss Moffett, and I just had doubts that I was her biological father at the time. I didn't know. I really didn't. I didn't know if I was the father or not.
The plot thickens with this bombshell. Ms. Moffett recounts the circumstances around her pregnancy, revealing that she was sexually active with Mr. Johnson and another man, Mr. Saunders, around the same time. She was unsure of the paternity, but informed both men that they could be the father. This revelation is crucial as it sets the stage for the paternity confusion affecting all parties involved. The next part adds even more to the drama. You're not going to want to miss it.
Tell the court what happened when you found out you were pregnant.
I wasn't sure who was the father because I had went out to Maywood, and at that time Mr. Johnson was at work, so I stayed around so we could see each other. But in the meantime, I had went to one of my friend houses named Mr. Saunders, which I was dating before Mr. Johnson. Basically, I ended up having sex with him that day and Mr. Johnson at the same time.
Here's a moment that changes everything. Following the birth of her child, Ms. Moffett informed both Mr. Johnson and Mr. Saunders that they could be the father based on the timing of their relationships. Mr. Saunders immediately claimed the child upon seeing her, although Ms. Moffett had doubts about this claim. This moment highlights the ongoing uncertainty and the emotional strain on Ms. Moffett as she navigates the relationships with both men. The tension is about to go through the roof, so stay tuned.
You brought it to him, and what did you say when you brought the picture?
I told him, I said, here's Rissa and here's your child, that you could be possible father. And also I did let him know about Mr. Saunders at the same time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You brought him this picture and said you could be the father.
Yes.
And there's also another potential father, Mr. Saunders. Is that what you said?
Yes, Your Honor.
And
She
so
was.
then did you have doubt at that point?
Big time.
You won't believe the turn of events here. Ms. Moffett explains her decision to finally seek clarity about her daughter's paternity, emphasizing the emotional toll the secrecy has taken on Nerissa. She expresses a desire for her daughter to have a clear understanding of her familial ties to facilitate emotional healing and relationship building. This is pivotal as it underscores the impact of the paternity uncertainty on Nerissa's well-being. The revelation that follows is truly moving, and it's a tearjerker for sure.
Who her biological father is and need closure so she won't be torn between 2 fathers, so she can have clarity and just go on, and they could build a bond. She have other siblings out there that she need to meet, and because they never did believe that Nerissa was his anyways. But
Your family never believed that Nerissa was your biological child?
Right. They don't believe it.
This moment is a real game changer. The court reveals that
It has been determined by this court Mr. Johnson, you are her father.
The court session begins as the judge allows everyone to be seated and the case of Rose versus Jefferson versus Power is announced. Just when you thought it was straightforward, get ready for some wild twists.
This is a case of Rose versus Jefferson versus Power.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good day, everyone. Ms. Rose, you are asking the court for DNA tests on two men. Your on-again, off-again boyfriend, Mr. Jefferson, and his good friend, Mr. Power, who is waiting outside of the courtroom.
Things are heating up quicker than a microwave dinner. Ms. Rose is also suing Mr. Jefferson for defamation, claiming he damaged her reputation at church, work, and within her social circle. Mr. Jefferson expresses his doubts about the paternity of his children due to Ms. Rose's history of infidelity. Stay tuned, it's about to get even spicier.
Now, Ms. Rose, you're also suing Mr. Jefferson $5,000 for defamation of character. You claim he's ruined your reputation at church, your job, and with your entire circle of friends.
Absolutely.
Now, Mr. Jefferson, you say you not only question the paternity of your 3-year-old son, but you are also asking for the results of a DNA test on your 2-year-old son, Zayden, as well.
As the backstory unfolds, hold on to your popcorn. Mr. Jefferson details his non-committed relationship beginnings with Ms. Rose, mentioning their mutual involvement with other people, including his friend Michael Powers. You think this is juicy? Just wait for the next reveal.
We first got together, and every time we would break up, she would go right with my friend Michael Powers. And when she first got pregnant, we were both seeing other people at the time.
Okay.
You know?
So non-committed relationship.
Yes, very non-committed relationship at first. I didn't really commit to her until I found out she was pregnant.
That's not true.
This tangled web gets even wilder. Alicia reveals the complexity of her relationships, explaining how she was initially involved with Michael and later became serious with Kenneth, all while overlapping relationships without realizing the men were friends. Grab your snacks. The drama escalates.
I met Michael first and was sleeping with him. We were kind of together, but not very serious. He fell in love with someone, moved on, and then I ended up with Kenneth. But I didn't know they were friends at the time.
Okay.
That's the thing. There was a point where I was sleeping with both of them at the same time. And then later, that probably went on for a good month. And then I ended up getting more serious with him. What happened is actually I stopped seeing Michael and committed to Kenneth. And then I ended up finding out I was pregnant about 2.5 weeks later.
Enter Mr. Power, and the plot thickens like a good stew. Mr. Power is brought into the courtroom. He discusses his history with Alicia, including their initial encounter and subsequent interaction, admitting to the possibility of being Sire's father due to their past relationship. The stage is set for more bombshells, so keep watching.
Mr. Power, thank you for joining us today. Have been having a discussion about Sire and who could possibly be his father. We have learned from Ms. Rose that she was in fact sleeping with you and Mr. Jefferson. You two are friends, right?
Best friends.
Best friends.
Yeah.
Around the same time. You believe that you potentially could be Sire's father.
Without a doubt.
The emotional roller coaster hits a steep drop. Emotional turmoil surfaces as the parties discuss the impact of the relationship dynamics on their lives and the well-being of the involved children, highlighting the strain caused by jealousy and insecurity. As the courtroom drama peaks, the DNA results are about to be unleashed.
I want to cry right now. I've betrayed my best friend, man.
I'm looking at your face and you look emotional. That's why I asked you, you really feel bad. That's your best friend.
20 years.
So what has this done to your relationship, Mr. Jefferson, with you and Ms. Rose? Where are you two at?
We're kind of in a relationship. It's off and on rocky.
So the outcome of these tests is going to determine the future of your relationship and your family.
Take a deep breath. Here come the DNA results.
Mr. Jefferson, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
The case of Smith versus Bailey Anderson is introduced in a bustling courtroom. The plaintiff, Miss Smith, is fervently pursuing multiple paternity tests to identify the true biological father of her 1-year-old daughter, Tamia. She's pointing fingers at 3 potential dads: Mr. Bailey, her ex and potential father number 1, Mr. Anderson, a one-night stand and possible father number 2, and a third mystery man yet to be discussed. Buckle up, because this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Miss Smith, you're here because you love your 1-year-old daughter, Tamia, and say you're hoping your mistake don't ruin her life. Now, at this moment, you claim she has 3 possible fathers. You've requested results of multiple paternity tests to determine who her one biological father is.
Can you believe this? Miss Smith spills the beans about her turbulent love life to the entire court. She was married, but amidst her crumbling marriage, she found solace and a bit more with Mr. Bailey, her on-again, off-again flame of 8 years. This affair peppered through her marriage, stirring up a paternity puzzle for poor little Tamia. And guess what? It's about to get even juicier.
I was married. I was really going through a bad time with my husband. We was going through some things. 8 years we've messed around.
So this has been a long-term relationship that extended
Yes,
into
Your
the time
Honor.
during your marriage.
He's my soulmate sexually.
So you're denying it, but you're here in this courtroom, which means you must have participated in some part of this.
I participated in it.
Hold on to your seats, folks. Judge Lake is turning up the heat, demanding crystal clear honesty. Judge Lake probes Miss Smith about her liaisons during Tamia's conception window, admitting to just 2 encounters. Miss Smith, amidst courtroom gasps, holds firm on her wish to pin down her daughter's daddy to ensure Tamia has the father figure she deserves. Oh, and keep watching because you won't believe what's coming up next.
If he needed some doubt to hang his hat on, you gave it to him. You want to deny her and say she's this and she's that, but the truth is you do admit to having a long-term relationship with this woman. You potentially could produce a child together, and you acting like it's not even possible, even though her actions and her behavior.
As Mr. Anderson strides into the courtroom, the plot thickens. Mr. Anderson, the notorious one-night stand, steps up to the plate, recounting his fleeting romantic encounter with Miss Smith. Despite admitting to the tryst, he casts doubt about fathering Tamia due to a medical condition he believes might prevent him from having healthy children. The courtroom is hanging on every word, and you should too, because this roller coaster is far from over.
If you had sex with this woman one time, then you just have to own the fact that you could be the child's father. I know it's hard to accept when it was just a one-night stand, but it's a whole lot of people in this world from one-night stands, I hate to tell you. When did you first hear about Tamia?
About 2 months ago, came to see me and she brought her and the child and another child.
Just when you think you've heard it all, there's a twist. The heated debate pivots to who's named as daddy on Tamia's birth certificate. It turns out Miss Smith's husband is listed because he was physically there at the birth, complicating the paternity drama even further. You'll want to stick around because the revelations that follow might just blow the roof off this courtroom.
This man was too scared to step up to his responsibility.
Because you told 5 people that was
this
the
woman
daddy.
right here
Smith,
all this time.
I know you're passionate and I know this means a lot to you, but I need you to speak in a respectful way in the courtroom. Mr. Bailey has doubt. Is there any possibility that there could be any other guy that could be the father?
No, ma'am.
Enter Mrs. Bailey, the wife of Mr. Bailey, adding her own flavor to this spicy courtroom saga. She confirms knowing all about her husband's escapades with Miss Smith, painting a vivid picture of a convoluted household where loyalty is as thin as the court papers. With both women pregnant at the same time under the same roof, the scandal meter is off the charts. And just when you think it can't get any wilder, hold on to your gavel, because it does.
She was homeless. That's how she came to stay with me. You don't have nowhere to take a baby. This girl moved with me. That house was on. It was in me and my husband's name.
I'm just trying to understand your hurt.
I have been there.
Hold on. Let's calm down.
The courtroom buzzes with anticipation as Judge Lake prepares to reveal the paternity results. The envelope, please.
It has been determined that the biological father is Mr. Bailey.
Thank you.
The court session begins, and Jerome calls the case of Thomas Veer Zachary. Judge Lake greets everyone, and the audience is all smiles. The stage is set, and the courtroom is buzzing.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Thomas versus Zachary.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Thomas, you claim you've been petitioning the court system for a DNA test for 15-month-old Hannah Thomas for more than a year now.
Miss Zachary is not holding back. She boldly claims Mr. Thomas is the father of her daughter and tells him to step up and reunite their family. Her statement spices things up even more.
Ms. Zachary, you claim Mr. Thomas is the father of your daughter, and it's time he step up to the plate and bring your family back together. So, Mr. Thomas, when did you learn you were going to be put on child support?
2 weeks ago, Your Honor. I went to the mailbox thinking I'm getting a check, and
Mr. Thomas throws a curveball about the pregnancy timeline. He thinks it progressed too quickly for the dates Ms. Zachary mentioned. Ms. Zachary reveals she was carrying twins, explaining her rapid size increase. Surprises keep coming.
I never received any paperwork at all. She said she was between 3 to 5 weeks. I believed her with 3 to 5 weeks. We got back together in August. We were having a lot of makeup sex, you can say. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it's probably my baby. If it's 3 to 4 weeks, 3, 4, 5 weeks, it all adds up. It's possible, you know?
So you're doing the calculation in your mind, and you say if this baby was conceived in August.
Yeah, after a couple months, I'm looking like, wow, she's getting kind of big, kind of fast. She's, 5, 6 weeks. What's going on?
Mr. Thomas digs deeper into the pregnancy mystery. He saw a doctor's note suggesting the pregnancy was more advanced than he thought, fueling his doubts. Get ready for a big revelation.
Hold on, wait a minute, y'all.
No.
So when you were at the doctor's appointment with her,
yes,
the doctors asked her, encouraged her to stop smoking, but you also got a look at the paperwork.
No, he did not.
And when you saw it, it had...
I received the paperwork in my hand, and it had to be between 13 and 15.
And at that time, when you were at the appointment, how many weeks did you think?
Supposed to be around 9 weeks at the time.
This is going through your head.
And it's just everything that's been building up. It just was building up and building up like, okay.
Skeletons tumble out of the closet. Ms. Zachary admits to being with another man during a brief separation, intensifying Mr. Thomas's doubts. The drama keeps unfolding.
During the whole pregnancy, I was with him. I was honest about everything with him.
She was correct about that. She was honest.
What did she say?
At the beginning of August, she told me when we got back together, she told me, oh yeah, I've been having unprotected.
I told you before.
She basically told me that she's been having unprotected sex with
that
a guy.
That was July, beginning of July. That was the beginning of July.
With a guy that she
I was with a kid.
It's like a soap opera. Their relationship issues come to light with accusations of infidelity and mistrust. The story gets more tangled with each layer peeled back.
The end of July, beginning of
August.
August.
A dirty fighter, Yana. We've been together almost 6 years. I'm leaving out the house. I'm going to go to my parents' house for a while. Or you leave and you go with your mom or something.
No, that's
like
not a
that.
break.
That was a break between us, and we were always back together within a month. So it was still no excuse. A break is not an excuse to go sleep with someone and have a child by someone else at all.
After this, you still stuck by her.
Exactly.
And then you signed the birth certificate when you were at the hospital, am I correct?
Yes, I did.
The tension rises as they argue over fidelity and trust. Mr. Thomas questions paternity based on their breaks, and Ms. Zachary's interactions with another man. The plot thickens even more.
Because you kept on saying you didn't know if she was yours. And I was honest. I told him that it was a possibility.
Your Honor, Rakai's a dirty fighter. She's a dirty fighter. We just came and I go sleep on the couch and she's in the bed. She brings the deepest, darkest secrets, and they're true, to the light. And she will tell, these not your kids anyway. Why you help me take
Really? Hold on.
Really?
At some point, she
Really?
said that to you?
Yes, to my face. We had twins. Hannah is a twin. It was Hannah and Heather.
Mr. Thomas's uncle, Pierre Hill, steps in. He doubts Mr. Thomas's paternity based on the child's looks and a picture Ms. Zachary showed him of another man. The drama escalates.
Mr. Hill, you are Mr. Thomas's uncle. What do you know about this situation?
You know what, Your Honor? This whole situation is just crazy, like fighting to the arguing and stuff like that. I don't think that he is the father of Hannah. And the reason why is because she just don't look like him. And another reason, one time me and, Kaya was hanging out in the house, they had got into it. I left to get some air.
The court dives into evidence, including text messages, raising more questions about the child's father. Their complicated relationship history clouds the issue further.
Mr. Thomas was going through my phone, and that's how he knew.
So are admitting that you have a person logged into your contacts as Hannah's dad.
No, I do not.
So this isn't from your phone.
I don't know what that document is.
That's a screenshot of a text message that's been printed out, Your Honor.
What's the number?
224, and then it's 572, and we can't say the rest.
That's possible that that's his number.
Is that your phone number, Mr. Thomas?
My number starts 224-619.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the DNA test results reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Thomas, you are her father.